Today we will be talking about quadrilaterals, one of the shapes that is very common in geometry. So a quadrilateral has the word quad in it. Quad represents the number 4. So a quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 angles. That's pretty simple. Now within that family, the quadrilaterals is like a big family, and there's different kinds of quadrilaterals. We'll be discussing some of them today. So a parallelogram has the word parallel in it. What that has, it's a quadrilateral, and it has 2 pairs of parallel and congruent sides. Okay, so a parallelogram could look something like this. So this side is parallel to that side, and then these 2 sides are parallel, and these 2 are congruent, these 2 are congruent. Okay, now 2 sets of parallel and they're congruent to each other. Now we have a shape that you're probably familiar with, a rectangle. So we know a rectangle has 2 sets of parallel and congruent sides. So where does that sounds a lot like this, but the only difference is all of the angles are right angles. So a rectangle is a parallelogram. Now let's jump down to a square. A square, we know, probably one of the first shapes that you learned when you were little. It has all right angles. It has 2 sets of parallel sides, but all of the sides are congruent to each other. So a square is a form of a rectangle. Now, a rhombus, and what I always referred to that is the squished square. Okay? We have 2 pair of parallel sides, the ones opposite each other, and all of them are equal, all of the sides. Now the thing is, the difference between a square and a rhombus is that the square has right angles and the rhombus doesn't. Okay? But a square is also a type of rhombus. Okay? And then trapezoid. If you have exactly 1 set of parallel lines, so this is parallel to this, and the other set is not, that's called a trapezoid. It might even look like, it could even look like this, because this side is parallel to that side. So I mean, that has only 1 set of parallel lines. Now we can do a graphic here. We're going to use this quadrilateral, this rectangle, which is also a parallelogram. We're going to call this family our quadrilaterals. Okay? That means any 4-sided shape. Then we have a subfamily here. They're going to have, and these are the parallelograms. Okay? So that means these have some sort of parallel sides. We have rectangles, and then we have rhombuses, and we have squares. Okay? So our parallelograms, those include rectangles and rhombuses. So I'm going to put a circle because a square is a type of a rectangle, and a rectangle is a type of parallelogram. But you know what? A square is a type of rhombus. Okay? A square is a type of rhombus because it has all 4 sides equal, just like this, and opposite sides are parallel. Okay? So a square is also a rhombus, which is a parallelogram. Then we kind of have this side of the family here. These are the trapezoids. And that is, remember, it's just one set of parallel lines, parallel sides. So that is our introduction to quadrilaterals. Today we will be talking about polygons. Polygons. And what a polygon is, the word poly, P-O-L-Y, stands for many. So a polygon is just a general word that is a general shape. We have many types of polygons depending upon how many sides they have. And I've listed just several of them. Triangle, we know that. That is a three-sided figure. So TRI, triangle, has three sides. Quadrilateral has the word quad in it. That means four. Then we have lots of them that end in gon. Okay, gon means shape, and then the beginning part of the word is how many sides. So pent is for five-sided shape, pentagon. Hexa is for six sides. Hepta is seven, a heptagon. Octagon is probably one of these polygons you're most familiar with. That is an eight-sided figure, like a stop sign. So 8 sides. Nonagon is nine sides, and decagon is 10. So deca is kind of like the metric system. You know, you've heard of decameters and things like that. Now we have in here what are called regular. If you see the word regular polygon, that means all the sides are the same length. So if I have a regular triangle, we might call it an equilateral triangle. If I said that it's not regular, it may look like something like that. A quadrilateral, so a four-sided figure, if I wanted a shape that had 4 equal sides, that would be regular. Not regular might look something like a trapezoid. A pentagon, these get harder to draw. Okay, so there's a pentagon with 5 equal sides. I can draw a 5-sided shape. That's also a pentagon, but it is not regular. We can go down all the way down to decagon. That gets kind of difficult to draw. So now let's look at some shapes. Okay. In a previous lesson, we learned that the sum of the measures of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Okay. 180 degrees. So let's take this quadrilateral right here. I am going to connect these two vertices with a straight line segment. I call this line segment a diagonal. So a diagonal of a polygon is a line segment that connects two non-adjacent vertices. So adjacent would be next to each other. These are non-adjacent. So what I did is I divided this into 2 triangles. Okay? So we know that the sum of the measures of the angles of this triangle is 180 degrees. And it is 180 degrees here. So if I added all of these up, I get 360 degrees. So I just found the sum of the measures of the angles of the inside of that quadrilateral. If I did the same thing for this pentagon, if I made as many triangles as I could, okay, I made 3 triangles. I know that the sum of the measures of the angles of this triangle is 180. This is 180, and this is 180. I get a total of 540 degrees if I wanted to find out the number of degrees in this pentagon. And I could do the same thing with this hexagon. If I divided it up into as many triangles as I had, this is 180, 180, 180, 180. That's 720 degrees. So the way we can find out the number of degrees in any polygon I had a three-sided figure, it's 180. If I have a four-sided figure, 360, as you can see. What we do is we take the number of sides, subtract 2, and then we multiply it times 180. So if I have a three-sided figure, 3 minus 2 is 1, times 180 is 180. If I have a four-sided figure, I have two triangles. So 4 sides minus 2, that gives me 2 times 180, which is 360. If I have a five-sided figure, I am dividing it into 3. So I'm taking 5 minus 2, that's my 3, times 180. You can see the pattern. And so that is a general introduction to polygons.